Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, we are talking to Dr. Misty Paul. If you remembered yesterday, Dr. Misty Paul interviewed me. We talked about hormones. And today, we are getting into pain management and natural solutions that Dr. Misty Paul recommends for managing pain. So, I'm so happy to have you here, Dr. Misty. I have to tell you, chiropractors are one of my favorite. I've had a chiropractor for over 10, 15 years. And
Yay!
so I'm so happy to have you here. And I am looking forward to this discussion. So
Thank you.
before we dive into our interview and all the stuff I want to ask you about, I wanted to take a little bit of time and just read your bio for our listeners.
Okay.
Dr. Misty Paul is a chiropractor of 32 years. After practicing in many different states, she opened Basics First Chiropractic 12 years ago in Leesburg, Virginia. Dr. Paul's passion is slowing down the aging process by simple basic steps to better health, which includes good posture, proper nutrition, sleep, and exercise. I love that. Dr. Paul received her Bachelor's of Science degree in pre-med from Union College in Schenectady, New York. It was the impersonal clinical model and the notion that a patient were only a string of symptoms awaiting a diagnosis that led her to pursue her Doctor of Chiropractic degree from Logan University in St. Louis, Missouri. And for the next 20 years, Dr. Paul, along with her husband, an Air Force pilot, practiced wherever the Air Force sent them. This included Mississippi, California, Texas, just to name a few states. She probably went all 50 states. And after years of moving, they looked not only for a friendly community where they could raise their two young children, but also a vibrant business environment to open her own practice. They fell in love with Loudoun County. Dr. Paul opened Basic First Chiropractic in 2008 in Leesburg, Virginia. And over the last 12 years, Basic First has grown through the strong relationships forged by Dr. Paul and was awarded Best Chiropractor of Loudoun County in 2015. Wow. I can't stop singing her praises. There's more. 30 years later, Dr. Paul's message to her patients hasn't changed. Good posture, proper nutrition, sleep, and exercise are the first but basic steps to better health. In fact, her mission is to create Dr. Mom in every family by teaching them simple solutions to wellness and health. Oh my goodness, Dr. Paul. What a nice bio, credentials, background. This is fantastic. I love it.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
And welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here. So, Dr. Paul, let's just dive into it now that I've sang your praises and the whole world knows who you are. Let's hear some stuff about pain management. So, tell us a little bit about your story and why you got into chiropractic care.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. And I loved our discussion yesterday. And I would want to be nowhere else but to be here with you, with my very good friend Deon. Um, so it's kind of an interesting story. So as you already know, I was at Union College studying pre-med, and my boyfriend happened to have eye pain of all things. Well, George was on a full scholarship with the Air Force, and what he was finding as this eye pain progressed, that it would be exacerbated by studying. So a week went by and somehow he got through it. But as the days kept on going by with the severe eye pain that would worsen with studying, he became really concerned that he was not going to be able to keep up with the studies and what would happen to the scholarship. So as any of us would, he went off to see many different doctors, from eye doctors to optometrists to neurologists, and all tests came back normal. And finally he said, I'm going to go see my chiropractor. I went with him to that visit. And as I walked in through those doors of that chiropractic clinic, I had no idea how much my life was going to change. So we walked in, and the chiropractor sat George down. This was not his first visit to him, but it was the first visit with the eye pain. And he very, in simple words, he explained how the nerves from different parts of our spine go to all parts of our body, and that there was a nerve at the top of the neck that went to his eye. And thank goodness he had been to every other doctor and all tests were negative and his eye was healthy. So why don't we just try to adjust the neck, and maybe that would make this feel better. And in fact, there was a chart in his office, probably similar to something that you see behind me, with the nerves that exited out. And I remember George pointing to that nerve and saying, "That's got to be the one. Look, it goes to the eye." And he was adjusted, and he felt better. It didn't all go away. He wasn't 100%, but over the next few visits, he began to feel much better, and he was able to get back to his studies. And what I learned on that day is I loved uh, the simpleness of chiropractic care. I loved how Dr. Maggs sat us down and talked with George. I loved his empathy, and this was different from everything else that I had ever seen before. So it's a love story on two levels, really, because I fell in love with chiropractic that day and made up my mind that I was going to go off to chiropractic school. And that boyfriend became my husband. So there you have
Yeah,
it.
true love story. Oh, that I
Yeah.
love that story. That is so awesome. And I'm so happy that you shared a story like that with our audience, right? Why? Even though we're talking about pain management and you became a chiropractor, most people, I probably wouldn't have connected an eye to going to a chiropractor, right? You would want to
Right.
go to an ophthalmologist and have that taken care of, but not. So it all goes to show how connected our bodies are.
Yes,
That
absolutely.
is such a nice story. I'm happy he became your husband also, because it
I'll
would
keep
have been
them.
through. Yeah, you keep him. It was through him or that experience that actually helped you to become a chiropractor.
Yes.
Awesome. I love that story. So, what kind of patients do you see? Who walks in your clinic?
Oh my goodness. You know what? It's amazing. So going through all the different ages, I have newborns coming into my practice. So of course, I treat women who are pregnant, and we talk a lot about, we helping them. A pregnant woman can't take medication. And so, of course, because of this growing baby, they are susceptible to back pain. And a lot of pregnant women are already moms, so this is not their first one. So they're carting a little one on one hip, and they're pregnant. So those are some of the people that I see, and explaining to them that I can help newborns and I can help toddlers with things like colic and congestion, um, constipation, things such as that. I see young athletes. So one of my missions is to help young people. Today people are getting into sports earlier and earlier. We have travel sports, and they're using that to help themselves get into college. And so I want to talk to these young people about growing pains and how to prevent growth plate injuries. So that's one of my big missions. I see the weekend warrior that comes into my clinic on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they say, I don't know why my back hurts. Yes, I tried to do it all and get healthy in one weekend. Um, so I see elderly. My oldest patient happens to be 98 years old. And so we have very gentle chiropractic care for that
Mhm.
age group too. But there's one age group that comes in here, probably the most common, and that is women anywhere from about 40 to 55. And
That's
that
my
is
sweet spot too.
there's a reason that I just thought that this was a great idea for the two of us to talk together, because just as you told people yesterday that with what happens with hormones is that as hormones decrease, we have certain symptoms. Well, pain and inflammation happens to be one of those symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah,
And these people
great.
come in with all different types of pains, right? So the young athlete might have knee pain, heel pain. The pregnant woman, of course, has low back pain. The elderly, it could be neck pain anywhere down. I see migraines, I see carpal tunnels, so pain in the hands, plantar fasciitis. So it just depends, but low back pain and neck pain are probably the most common that come in.
Yeah. And I know that, at least for me, a lot of people are probably were surprised when you say babies, newborn,
Yeah.
right? That you see, because I learned this years after my kids were born. Actually, my son went to chiropractic care. I think he might have been 6 years old,
Uh-huh.
because I we didn't know that that was a thing, that you
Right.
could do that. So it's very good that you mentioned that, because now I know maybe some of our listeners are hearing that for the first time, that it's safe for babies. And then even athletes, kids that are in
Absolutely.
sports, we're always thinking it's for older, like 40, 50 people, or if you have an injury. So that's great that you shared that. I thought that's important.
Good.
Awesome. So now that you provide chiropractic care, is there anything additional that you use to support these patients with their care, whether it's
Absolutely.
pain or
Yes, self-care becomes such an important regimen for people to follow. It's not just what we can do to somebody in the few minutes that they're in the clinic, but it's really about giving them things that they are able to do at home. So I have a mnemonic that I use, and it's called Soul Sense,
wow, tell us
SENZ.
more. So
Soul Sense.
sense. Write it
So
down, everybody.
so soul represents our emotional health. That what I'm trying to get to is that in order to take care of our pain and inflammation and the discomfort that we have, all other aspects of our life must be in balance. So our emotional health, our soul, we must take care of. And the S stands for spine. Of course, the spine is the part that I help you with when you come into the clinic. The E is for exercise. Exercise is a very, very important part of what we do. We start with giving patients very simple stretches, and then from there we graduate on to resistance exercises, and then explaining to them the importance of cardio, and if they can do yoga at home. There's so many different types of exercises that people can do, and movement therapy also, using foam rollers, all those types of techniques will help. The N is for nutrition. So we touched upon this yesterday. You did such a beautiful job in letting us know how important nutrition was. And I can't emphasize that enough, that we need to work on inflammation, not just from externally, from what I can do or what you might be able to put on topically, but really the best way to get inflammation down, to feel less pain, is to work on it from what we're putting into our body internally. So nutrition becomes important aspect. And as far as nutrition goes, the best, very simple anti-inflammatory agent that we all have are good omega-3s, fish oils. That's what we need to help reduce that pain and inflammation. And finally, the last letter of soul sense is the Z. It's important to get our Z's. Sleeping. Sleeping is really important. So as somebody comes into my clinic and they say, oh, I have a lot of pain today. I only slept for 4 hours last night. I'm really stressed and I love to eat fast food. Okay, then what I'm doing is not going to really help them. We got to look at all the other aspects of it. And along with this, another very important part is essential oils. And that's the other part that I just love to talk to people about.
Nice. Well, we're going to get into that because, as you know, we talked yesterday, and I did mention that essential oil is a big part of my hormonal practice that I work with
Yeah,
women on. And so, tell us more about the essential oils for helping to support pain.
absolutely. So there, you and I know that there's so many wonderful essential oils out there that we just love to use. And I like to just put it into different groupings. So let's talk about analgesia and anti-inflammatory. So to help decrease the feeling of pain and to help decrease the inflammation, nothing is better than wintergreen. Wintergreen is great because it's very closely related to methyl salicylate. And if that sounds familiar, that's what aspirin has in it. So why use something that is synthetic, that has other side effects? But instead, here we have a nice essential oil to use. And let me just back up a little bit, Deon. When I get into the discussion of essential oils, I always explain to my patients, this is an area of the market that has just blown up. We can get these essential oils everywhere. We can get them at every grocery store, in the pharmacy, in department stores. And I don't know what to expect out of all of those brands. And I only trust one brand, and that is doTERRA essential oils. And the reason for that is because this is a company that takes care of sourcing these oils properly. They are, they not only are they well sourced, but they look through every single bottle. They have 7 different levels of going through and making sure that there aren't any fillers or synthetic material that's been mixed into it. So this is the only company that I trust. And as people come in and they'll say, oh, well, what about wintergreen from somewhere else? I don't know. So I can only trust doTERRA. So wintergreen for analgesia and anti-inflammatory properties. Antispasmodic, and what I mean by that, it's such a big word, and all I'm trying to say is what helps muscles relax, what helps loosen up a muscle. Well, guess what? Nothing been more simple than peppermint. Peppermint does that.
Mm.
So peppermint has menthol in it, which
And
is
everyone
great.
loves peppermint.
Yes,
Mm.
exactly. It is a multifaceted essential oil. Peppermint is great for clarity. It's good. So it's great to wake you up, to help you focus, helps decrease pain by taking down the tightness of the muscles. There's another oil called copaiba, and copaiba is an endocannabinoid oil. So we've learned a little bit about the different types of nervous systems that we have, and endocannabinoid is one of those parts of our nervous system. And basically, copaiba helps to decrease pain. It helps our minds relax and provides cellular well-being. So it helps in that regard. Marjoram. You may all think of marjoram as an herb, something that you love to cook with. Maybe you get the marjoram out seasonally when it comes to fixing the turkey, during the holiday time. The marjoram is a warming oil, so it helps relax muscles and eases pain. And finally, if there's a whole lot of swelling, then lemongrass. It has a great ability to take down swelling. So
I did not know that.
there you go. Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. So what I love is that doTERRA has made it even more simple for us. They've taken a few blends. They've come up with a few blends, such as Deep Blue, which has peppermint, wintergreen, as well as German chamomile and blue tansy. They have Aroma Touch, which is another very powerful blend. It has cypress, peppermint, marjoram in it. They have Past Tense, which has wintergreen, lavender, frankincense, marjoram, again, to mention a few. So you might be wondering, okay, what do I do with all these oils? So,
Yeah, how do they use all these beautiful oils, Dr. Misty?
okay.
What do they do with them?
Okay, so let's say somebody has low back pain. I'm going to recommend that you take some peppermint, or you can take marjoram, copaiba, and you can simply apply it topically in the area that you're having pain. So low back or neck. As we talk about peppermint, we know that it stings if it gets close to the eyes. It makes our eyes water. So as you're getting closer to the eyes, you might want to not use as much peppermint, but maybe the neck would be a great place for the marjoram, the warming oil. Perhaps you want to use wintergreen there as well. You can layer these one on top of each other, including, so I have, remember we talked about the athletes that come in with knee pain or with ankle pain. So anywhere you feel the pain, you can apply that oil topically, and you can layer one on top of another to see how it's affecting you. And perhaps it's the layering process that helps you get a little bit more relief. If you want to drive that oil in a little bit more, then it's great to put a warm compress. The question that I always get, hey, do I put cold or do I use heat, right?
Mhm.
So here's an easy way to remember that. If it's an acute injury, if you've just sprained or strained something, you lift it and you hurt yourself, ice goes on it. But otherwise, for the most part, if you're just trying to help loosen up muscles, then warming it is a great idea, and putting a nice moist hot pack on the area after you've got the oil on it helps drive that oil in a little bit further. So that's a
Wow.
great way of
Look,
doing
this is like free chiropractic care that we're getting on
that.
this call, on this interview today, right? But so I was thinking as you were talking, Dr. Misty, what if someone says, I have very sensitive skin. I don't know if it's safe for me to put these oils on my skin. What do you say to that?
Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. There's a couple of oils that actually I mentioned that some people might be sensitive to. I know I certainly have some sensitivity. Lemongrass is quite a strong oil. Wintergreen sometimes is too. But nevertheless, with any of these oils, a great way to use them is to actually dilute with fractionated coconut oil. Now, when you're first starting to use oils, as I did, when somebody said dilute, I would say, okay, wait, what's the recipe? How many drops of one versus how many? Do I get a pipette out? This is not a chemistry experiment at all. It's nothing. It's really put a couple drops of the oil. I love using something called fractionated coconut oil, and that just is coconut oil that is liquid at room temperature. That's what the fractionated part is. So you simply pour a little bit of the fractionated coconut oil, mix it in the palm of your hand. It helps warm it up, and then you can simply apply to wherever it might be, right? What if I don't have fractionated coconut oil? Well, if you have coconut oil at home, whether it's liquid or not, take some of that solid and just melt it in the palm of your hand and put a drop of the essential oil and then apply it in that way.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. And you know, something that we could probably just throw in here, Dr. Misty, because I'm just putting myself in the shoe of a listener right now, right?
Yes.
And we didn't mention this on our call yesterday, but I think it might be a good time for us to kind of discuss it a little bit and just
Yeah.
let people know that if they have high quality essential oils, these are straight from the plants. Right? This is
Yes.
plant medicine. It's
Yes.
not anything that's made up with all types of different, it's straight from the plants, right? And
Yes.
that's the thing, as you mentioned about doTERRA going through those stages before they put any oils in the bottles, that they make sure it's not there are no fillers, there's no additives, there are no water. It's straight from a plant that they extract through different ways depending on the type of plant and the type of oil it is. They extract them different methods that they use. So I thought that, you know, reiterating that to our listeners so people aren't feeling a little scared and not wanting to try them.
Absolutely. They are as natural as can be. And you're right, they've gone through many different levels of testing to ensure their quality and their purity. And we are so quick, if you will, to take synthetic uh, things for pain and discomfort that we feel. And these are all natural. But even having said that, it's nice to be able to dilute until you know exactly what your skin sensitivity will be.
Right. And what Dr. Misty is also saying is that this is essential oils are to be used as a way of supporting your pain and discomfort, right? By all means, you need to speak to your doctor. By all means, need to let your doctor know what you're doing. But it's, you know, we go to the pharmacy, sometimes we buy over the counter medicine. We don't necessarily tell our doctors that we're doing that. But
Yeah,
with essential oils, people might tend to be a little bit because they're not familiar with them.
that's right.
So if you are wanting to try these essential oils for pain management and you feel better in asking your doctor, letting your doctor know that you're going to try that, just remember that high quality essential oils such as doTERRA is a safer alternative when looking for that support.
It's one of the things that happens as we do these calls and we put things on the internet that we don't have the ability to see somebody live one-on-one in our own offices. And so we don't know what the experiences that you might be having. So absolutely check in with your doctor.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Misty, I want to know, I think our listeners want to know, what is your daily rituals with essential oils?
I'd love to share. And so, I am of that age. I am older, such that I have gone
You
through.
are fabulous. You're not
Thank you.
old.
Thank you. So I've gone through menopause, and I am in that category of phase in my life where I would have more pain if I just didn't take care of myself. And now more than ever before, I understand the importance of putting the oxygen mask on me before I can help everybody else. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm not going to be my best and I'm going to be suffering, and I don't want to. So here's what I do. I wake up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I put peppermint and wintergreen on my low back, because guess what? I can be a sufferer of low back pain. And once I've applied that, I do my yoga. I do 20 minutes of yoga every morning. And now, because of I've applied that peppermint and on my back, and the wintergreen, I'm able to stretch a little bit more. Then I go through the routine as we all do. We take our showers and get ready. And after I'm completely ready to go, my last thing that I'll do is I'll actually apply a little bit of marjoram and frankincense on any area that I think I'm going to be, it might be a trouble spot, if you will. You know, for 32 years, I've worked with my hands, right? So I might have some discomfort in my wrists or my elbows. So those might be the areas that I'll put frankincense and marjoram on. And as I'm going through my daily ritual, I'll probably mention some oils that I haven't mentioned as my top 5. Doesn't mean I'm not using other oils too. So I love using adaptive. Remember how we talked about soul sense, that I need to take care of the whole body? So I love using this oil called adaptive. It helps me feel better about myself. It helps with my emotional health and well-being, helps me feel cheery. So I'll smell, because inhalation, inhaling the aroma becomes very important for emotional health. And then I'll put it on pulse points everywhere where I can smell, because then I become a human diffuser. So then I will go to the clinic, I'll go about my day. And as the day goes along, I might need to apply wild orange on me, especially if it's mid-afternoon. Wild orange and peppermint, oh, that is just my favorite. Wake me up as we all go through that afternoon slump. I don't want to take another cup of coffee after 12. If I do that, it's going to interrupt my Z's. So I'm going to use my essential oils to help wake me up, give me some focus and some energy to get through the rest of the day. And then I'll apply as it gets closer. When I get home in the evening, I'll put Serenity on. Serenity has lavender in it to help me start to relax. Now I'm trying to start telling my body that it's, you know, time to kind of get ready for bed. And then as right before I go to bed, I'll put Balance on me. It's a grounding blend, and it just helps, it's a nice soothing way to end the day. Those are just
Now
a
I
few
feel like I want to go to bed. It's close to bedtime now. So, Dr. Misty, before we wrap up here, we come in a little close to the end of our time. A lot of people out there I know suffer from arthritis.
Yes.
Can any of these oils help with that type of pain?
Yes, absolutely. Marjoram is actually a great one for that. So arthritis there's many different processes that are going on with that, but suffice it to say that we get stiffness in the joints, right? So marjoram, and would you believe black pepper essential oil. Take a drop of marjoram, take a drop of black pepper essential oil with a little bit of fresh coconut oil, mix it, and then put it on wherever you might be feeling the effects of that arthritis. And it helps warm things up and helps you feel better, increases motion.
Wow. I told you all you were getting some free chiropractic care here today with essential oils. That was marvelous. Thank you so much. And Dr. Misty, if anyone is interested in any of those oils, how can they obtain them?
Sure. So there's many different ways of getting a hold of myself, and we will, of course, post these links in the group too. But one easy way is through my email. So that is drpaul@basicsfirstchiropractic.com. That's drpaul@basicsfirstchiropractic, all spelled out.com. The next way is if you go to our website, www.basicsfirstchiropractic.com. You can always go straight to my essential oils website, and that is my.doterra.com/Dr. Misty Paul. And again, we'll put all of those ways down as we post.
Wow, thank you so much. This has been so awesome. And I just realized at the end of our time that I never introduced myself. I was so excited about getting into your interview. I didn't tell anybody who I am.
Oh, no.
Okay, So that's okay. I will do it really quick. I will, now that the interview is over with Dr. Paul, I am Deon Holgerix, owner and founder of Deon's Wellness Wagon, and I am a menopause coach. I think that's enough for now. At least you know who you're talking to or who was talking to Dr. Paul. Um, anyway, no worries at all. That's not important. I think my name is showing up anyway. We'll put some notes out when we release this recording, and so there it is. Any final thoughts, Dr. Misty, before
No,
we
I
wrap
just
up?
really, I enjoyed this, and I hope we get the message out there that there's lots of options that people have when it comes to managing their hormones and managing their pain and discomfort in natural ways too. And we just hope that you've enjoyed the information, and we hope that you'll reach out to us with any questions that you may have. We're here to help you.
Absolutely. And so don't forget, we also have, I spoke to Dr. Misty yesterday, so you can also watch that recording where we talked about hormones. And today was just a continuation talking about essential oils, natural solutions for managing pain. And you did get a lot from both days. I actually learned a lot from today's
I
session.
did
I hope
too.
you did too. Yes, and please feel free again to reach out. To either of us if you have any questions. And with that, we will see you next time. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a nice day.
Bye.